Hey, that's pretty good.
I was always curious why people buy Apple devices and why they just can't use Android anymore. Of course, not all of them. Was that worth it? Was it easy to adapt to iOS system? Let's find out together. First things first, iPhone X is my first Apple device and I always heard that Apple devices were really premium and well built, of course. When I first picked it up, I wasn't disappointed. Of course, as all frequent flagship devices, the chassis is mix of glass and in this device stainless steel. Overall look is pretty good, but I will say only one bad thing about this, the notch. I will come back to it later. iPhone X is running Apple's A11 chip inside, which still holds up pretty well against even with the new Snapdragon 855 or Exynos 19820 according to Geekbench scores. iPhone X is rocking for the first time an Apple device 5.8-inch AMOLED display which Apple calls Super Retina, and it also supports HDR, which I love when I'm watching Netflix or HBO Go. Thanks to this new display, using it at sunny day is no big deal for this phone, which is great. Battery on this device is a 2716 mAh battery, which may not sound great, but trust me, it is okay. I was always getting around 5 hours screen on time, which with this battery capacity is pretty great, thanks to iOS optimization. But for me, the biggest con of this device is 3GB of RAM. And yeah, of course, thanks to iOS, it still holds pretty well, but in some situations, when you need to use a lot of apps in short period of time, the apps will be automatically closed, and it's really frustrating to me. Maybe Apple will improve RAM optimization in iOS 13, we'll see. iPhone X have two main cameras, one with 1.8 aperture and the second with 2.4, which is a telephoto lens which provides with 2x optical zoom. For me, as a true amateur photographer, the cameras holds up well. 2x optical zoom is pretty handy if you want to do some macro shots. However, if you want to do some portrait mode shots, then you have to have pretty good lighting around you, because without it, the edges are not that sharp. But overall daily shots are sharp and full of details, maybe not that full of details like shots from Pixel 3 devices, but still they're just pretty to look at. So, hopping from Android to iOS was quite a journey, I would say. First things first, I have to admit, and probably you all know it by now, but iOS is a really closed system, and because of that, I thought that it would be hard for me to switch from OnePlus phone to an iPhone. But surprisingly, I'm not missing Android that much. Overall user experience is pretty good. Launch time of applications is good. After 6 months of usage, only once or twice some application crashed. And on my previous phone, which was OnePlus 3T, yeah, and we know that OnePlus is well known for great Android optimization, but still, some apps, even with great optimization, will crash on Android devices, which is not the case with iOS system, at least in 12.3.1 version. I found all the apps which I was using on Android in App Store. I even found myself using stock iOS apps, like Reminders, which I know that this app is quite archaic, but it will be changed in iOS 13, so we'll see. I just thought that because iOS is a really closed system, I would miss some key feature of Android, like widgets on desktop or custom app icons, etc. But I'm not. But of course, there are some things which frustrates me a lot in iOS. First, why I can't access all the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth settings in a command center. Come on Apple, is it that hard? And of course, I know that with iOS 15 you can switch between Wi-Fi's and Bluetooth devices in a command center, but still we can't disable it from there. Second, why I can't access camera settings in the camera app. I really thought it would be introduced as a feature in iOS 13, but instead we got new Photos app. Yay! Third, the Files app. I just have to say I just can't understand it. On Android, in Files Manager, I could access every file I want, and in Apple's Files Manager, I can access only things associated with some apps like Pages or Keynote, and files from cloud services, but still it is not that easy to use, at least for me. And I have to say one more thing about 3D Touch. I'm just not using it. I just can't find myself using it on daily basis, even after 6 months of using this phone. Oh, and the last feature which I want you to tell about more is gesture navigation, which was a completely new thing to me as a previous Android user. And I have to say that I love it. Everything you will do on this phone, like closing apps, going to home screen, etc., feels so smooth and satisfying. It is a really great addition to its beautiful, almost no bezels design. Yeah, almost. So, the legendary notch. Is it that bad? Is it that frustrating to look at? Does it bevel on daily basis? Yes and no. I'll explain it to you in a second. When you're browsing internet or use apps like Facebook, Instagram, notch doesn't bother me in any way. But when I want to watch something, for example on YouTube or Netflix, that notch bothers me a lot. I tried a lot of times to watch some videos in all screen mode, but I just can't do it because I feel like I'm losing some content because of this notch. Maybe I am exaggerating, but it is how I feel about it. Apple's new addition, the Face ID. Previously I was using very fast fingerprint reader on OnePlus 3T and I have to say I miss it. But still, I have to admit that what Apple has done with facial recognition, how they made it so secure, is pretty impressive. And I have to say that I got used to it, but still it is slower and less secure than flagship's fingerprint readers. Of course, we have to remember that Apple is still improving Face ID, because they have told that Face ID will work even 30% faster in iOS 13, so maybe in some time it will be as fast as fingerprint readers. So, do I like this device? Yes, actually quite a lot. But you have to remember its price, which Apple demands from us, and it's a lot. Now there are already great phones from even $500 with Android, of course, which have better value for your money. But if you want to use iOS, you know how it is. So guys, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like this video, hit the unlike button, and see you guys in the next one.